things happened over the weekend. We had that is Lucky the Boss who had a show yesterday in Congo. That is Plateau in Mungwalu. He had a very wonderful show in Congo, and I love the fact that he was welcomed, as a homeboy. When you look at Congo, most generally, right from Bunya coming this other side, most of the places has been dominated with Aluru speakers. That's why the love, the way people showed him love, it was really massive. Over the weekend, that was yesterday in Plateau, Munkwalo. So what time was? How about your weekend? Yesterday, yesterday when I was watching movie in my house, yeah, I had at the back of my mind that I wanted to go to, to one of the two. Let me say, I wanted to go out. So over the due, I slept off, only to wake up around 1. And I was like, because I promised myself, I said, today I must go and chill out. So yesterday I was out at Capital One. I didn't enter the VIP, me, I was just in ordinary. So having fun in ordinary. So I had a great time. Not only later on, some of the group of bouncers, they started fighting. I don't know what the cause of that fight. To my understanding, the reason for that fight was that was a fight that took place some 2 months ago. So one of the party lost because he was drunk. You understand? To the other one. So now, after that incident, they both disappeared. You understand? The other one is a party animal, and then the other guy disappeared. He could not, show himself. So when they met in the club, so this is the guy who lost the previous time had to to break the chain. I'm not meaning break the chain of Jebekul. He took over the he just pulled the chain, a silver chain of the guy. So the fight started again. The fight ended up.
After what is the revenge?
Yeah. So it was really for me. It wasn't right because whatever happened, alcohol has a lot of influence. Once you have taken it, there's a way it drives you crazily. You don't even drive yourself. There's a way the alcohol itself drives you. So my weekend, though, I entered there around 1. That's when I came out from my house. 1 a.m. That's when I came out from my house. When I woke up, when I just fell asleep. So how was yours?
Yeah, of course, I want to say this weekend somehow it wasn't good on my side. Yeah, of course, there were so many things that happened. Let me start with one. We had the wealth creation
Youth
something
Youth Awake in Koboko.
in Koboko.
Yeah.
So basically, I think Honorable Minister
Balam.
Balam was in West Nile. They had so many things maybe to show to what extent has government programs maybe sinking in the youth within the country.
Within the country.
So they have been touring the country. I think this last Friday they were in Koboko. So in Koboko, there were so many politicians, the likes of Wayume, the likes of so many of them.
Hajat.
Yeah, even entertainer at the same time. We had the likes of James Kennedy.
Man Pato and Ziggy Zaga.
So I think Koboko was a blast, but on the other side round, it affected my schedules for playing music in Geruta.
In Geruta.
Yes, of course,
People were in the playing ground.
Yes.
Yeah. I said it, by the way. If you think I'm lying, you first ask Bonnie, one of the biggest producers in Uganda that we have. Ask Bonnie, ask Murray, and at the same time, the boy. We were saying something about that. Me personally, I thought that you would be having more crowd. Last Friday you would be having more crowd with the dignity of people.
Of course, people were there, but majority of people have gone for that.
Doko Derby.
They have gone for that event where I think there were so many entertainers, the musicians, the MC, the DJs, and so on. Full blast, and Jabalam with his equipment.
With his equipment, yeah.
So I think the other way around was good for those ones who love that. Then Then we struggled a little bit, but we managed to get some people. Not as used it, what I know very well at it. Every Friday, Guilt is packed. Even people even have nowhere to actually to fit. So I think this time it was not so much packed. It was.
But did you like the environment when I believe that this is what it has showed you something, like winning out when
No, of
when
course,
people are many
Of
and
course,
when people are not
one thing that
many.
one says people have a tendency of they always love so much free things. Yes, such even that is you. All along when these artists they come from Arua, they come wherever they are coming from to perform. They like so Grafton when they come to perform.
You pay money
You pay money to see them, to watch them,
and
to perform it.
and
And this time when they have brought them for free of charge,
For
that's
free of charge.
NRM has brought them free of charge with a very big system. So really you will know you will say let me maybe skip maybe Geruta for today. Let me be part of what? That program. Reason being that Geruta is not going anywhere. But these are guys who have come today and tomorrow will not get there.
but Geluta will still remain there.
The Geruta even Saturday still it operated. Sunday it operates.
That was
Wednesday
yesterday.
they operating, Thursday they operating, Friday they operating. So, but Balam
Operate
they,
once.
yeah, they have come there once and they have some kind of. Actually, one thing that I love is so much is that it's also sometimes good when the government comes out and starts following out how
The projects.
far. Yes, already the manifesto. They are finalizing the manifesto of 20.
That is 2021? No, 2020.
Yeah, at 2025, 26, yeah. Of course, they are finalizing. They want to see what has not been done and how they can maybe tackle some of these issues here. It's real true that we are really a little bit struggling, especially people who are in the entertainment circles. We are really struggling. Poverty has hit us so hard. We're trying to find a way
to skip it. But I love the fact that what Balam did in Koboko, created some platform, brought a light, following up the project that has been given by the government to help the household and the citizen, more so the youths and the women around. And I was watching, because you remember that day, we were streaming it live on West Night Television. So I was watching, and I love the fact that if all ministers could be like him, the whole entire ministers in the country, if they are to be like him, a person who comes openly, like you saw what he did when I was watching, and of course there are some people who were called to bring the documents, and they failed, to produce the documents. And he had the RDC there, let me say the president representative. He had him there. So he was like, telling people that this is not the right thing to do, giving them directives, arrest this one. When you don't have proper, documents, that shows the accountability, arrest this one. I don't know where they ended up with the arrest, because but
of course, one thing that I want to say is it's not the first time that people speak about arresting the corrupt officials.
But they let them go later.
I think to some extent, I think the law does not is not
Effective.
It's not effective somehow. Don't mean that we remember the issue of the iron sheets.
The iron sheets, yeah.
I don't want to go there. That's not too part of the issue here. So basically, I think that what Balam did, I think, is good. But what I don't understand is are these the criteria that they are using for maybe passing or finding out? Is it only now? It has only been done in Koboko, in the entire West Nile.
Oh, they're going to be in the whole of Uganda.
We should also have hope in Arua or Nebi. By the I already say in my mind, I like it when it's in Nebi or it's in Pakwachi or even in Arua, because basically these are my areas. It has been in Koboko, which is a place like how you usually say. So I think this message can also still go back to
Balam.
such government programs to find out how far we have gone with the
But of course, according to Balaam, he did say that around eight districts, yes, they are supposed to finalize now. And of course, at here, they are supposed to jump to, that is place in Soroti, what's it, Katakwi. They have in Katakwi, they are supposed to go to Mbale, something like that. So they are left with around 7 more. So meaning that the one in West Nile was held in Koboko. So there's no more awakening youth again in West Nile. You get? Then maybe Karamoja. But of course, I love the fact that, and living at that, about that, awakening the youth is not also a bad thing. Because we have so many artists in it.
And you are asking me, the other thing I want to, I think, Nira, I want to thank them for the good work they are doing.
Renewing the people's national ID.
Our national ID, some of our national IDs have expired. We're just now
hanging.
Yeah, we are there. We don't know whether we can now process maybe official documents with our expired national ID. But the one thing that I was trying to ask someone, why should a national ID expire? And yet I'm a citizen of this country here.
So meaning that in the near future, citizens will also start you will expire.
No. Actually, that's one of the things that I was questioning myself. I said, why should a national ID
expire?
As a citizen of this country here, why should my ID expire?
Maybe, by the way, it's a good question. Even me, I would ask that question. Why is it that all the Ugandans, why not the foreigners? At least if it could be for the foreigners.
I have a feeling that should have been an open ID, whereby it
doesn't
expire because it's the same. It's the same. Let me say, instead of now, let me say, having a budget after maybe over 5 or 10 years for the national ID, over, let me say, some kind of renewing the national IDs all over the country. That the budget can be fixed. There are so many other things that we're not doing well. So if that budget can be diverted to other things, maybe for example, I'm giving an example. Building maybe roads, you have seen even how
the roads
Bala road is from Rua to Nebi. So I think
then from Nebi to Zumbu.
Some of these
that one is another thing during rainy season.
I have a feeling that some of these things here, like the national ID, should have been open so that we can divert some of the money that we we use for renewing the national ID in doing other things for the country. Okay, that's my idea. But others were saying that if it is open, it won't be the way how they were explaining actually I did not get right because I didn't understand why should it expire.
And of course, talking about renewing your national ID.
The other thing I want to say is I think right now the process is ongoing.
Still,
if you haven't renewed your national ID,
you can.
One is the reason being that they gave it period of how many months?
It's up to I've forgotten.
Some people are saying it is going for 4 months.
For 4 months.
Others are saying it's going for 2 months. So I don't know which is the right one, but if viewers outside there, if you have not renewed your national ID, you know what it means. You know how people have suffered who never had a national ID, how the process of getting the national ID after that official registration.
And of course, this message goes to one of my friends, goes to one of my best friend, and of course, one of my best friend in the name of Asman Abdallah. Now,
have you renewed yours?
Yes, I've renewed mine. So this message goes to one of my best friends. Also, not only him, but the entire Ugandans. But in particular him. And of course, he doesn't have a national ID. So it's high time that Asman Abdallah, one of the prominent drivers, you need to go and get yourself a national ID. Otherwise, your permit will be seized. Away from that, my brother. Biabekul talked about something. Musicians, artists who are getting themselves into politics, and yet this is what he said. We have a lot of artists who are getting themselves into politics, and yet they don't have the experience. He talked about experience, even education at the same time. So now, what Biabekul is trying to say, according to you, Mosh, is it true that most of these artists who are trying to skip their ways in parliament, don't you think? Is it true that they don't have the let me say the skills? Let me and talking about the papers. You did talk about that. Do you think Biabekul is right?
Yeah, of course, he's entitled to his opinion at the big code, big size. The way we don't see things at the same side. That's why the coin has two sides. It has the other side and this side. So basically, I think he was talking about artists, the ones who have decided to join politics
Because of their popularity, the fame.
because of their fame, they want maybe to influence people, and yet they may not be eligible. Yeah, they may not be good leaders.
Good leaders without experience.
They may not be having the qualifications. For sure, to some extent, maybe what he's saying is true. Doesn't mean that just recently, last week here, we had Kapere. You know Kapere?
Yeah, Kapere, I know.
Yeah, Kapere, even writing his name was so hard, somebody came and helped him and wrote his name on the paper. So, because of his popularity,
he wants also to join the member of parliament.
He wants to become a councillor.
A councillor.
Contesting on a noob ticket.
Noob ticket.
So when he went to pick the form,
he could not even write his name.
He didn't know how to fill it. But he's a popular person. When he says something, maybe when he gives a speech, you say, yeah, our man. But when it comes to writing, he will hide behind
But of course, remember we have around 530. That is
Of course, what I want to say is that I don't want to go one side. That is bad for artists to contest in any political
position.
It doesn't mean that for sure, music business or entertainment business, it has really become a little bit hard. I'm telling you, Saj, you've been here for some time. This time you're telling me this time your things are keeping on reducing. The other previous year is not like last year, and last year is not like this year. Things are getting out of our hands.
True.
Look here, the number of shows that we had last year, I don't think that even we're going to have them this year. The one which we had the other previous year.
So it's reducing every single day.
How many now this year here? You first count how many shows that we've been having. We're coming to actually in the middle of the year. How many shows have we been having in Arua? And compare the last year, how many shows have we been having? So you'll find the number they are reducing. Why the number they are reducing? Because it is now entertainment business has become very hard and very tricky. You'll find people who come for your event. Most of them they need to have an attachment, they need to have a driving force. So it has become so hard in a way that people are really struggling. So if in politics there is the cake there is where you can easily
get the cake,
get money in an easiest way, so long as you can use all the available resources that you have. You put them together, make sure that you go to any political office and start earning salary.
But you see, the funniest thing here, Mosh, the funniest thing here is that you see, it's easy. It's easy when you're already in there. You understand? When you're already in the parliament, we have around 530. That is a member of parliament. Yeah, in the parliament, right there, as we talk right now. But now, it's when you're there inside, it's easy because we have seen some of the member of parliament when they get there, here come, here go in, here come, here go. They don't even say a word. They don't even participate. So I don't think that there's need for you to have experience, in politics to join. Because most of the member of parliament, you see them there, they go there just to sleep.
Of course, one thing that's why women are going to come to. Now, you're talking about experience. Where do we expect a member of parliament to get the experience? Someone who is contesting for the first time, where do we expect the person to get the experience? What do you mean by experience? These artists here, they have experience of singing. They have been singing for some time. So that's enough. But let me tell you, singing is just another way of human management. So it is easier for even representing yourself. By the way, sometimes you find it, some of the entertainers, they first want to top off their head, they want first get their eyes not to be shy to step on stage. So they first so I said top, or they say they first put something on their head so they can jump on stage without even
they first have to have a top up of highness.
Hyping, they have to hype.
Highness.
So some of them they can decide to drink, some of them they can smoke opium and so on.
So now in the parliament there's no smoking.
Of course, what I'm trying to say is, here when you jump on stage, you are representing, you're doing something. So the way how when you're doing your performance is the same way how you can even be doing it. So
doing it in the parliament.
Yes, in the parliament.
But now talking about that, what are the possibility of our own guys from this? Let me say from Gutanov, because I've seen that is my brother Okeng Bontown, you know, sitting in for LC5, you know, and a lot of guys. I've seen Monopoly, the bad character. I have seen entertainer like Tasha, also the other side of Zumbu as a woman MP, and I've seen who.
Wait, you're
King with
Tasha the MC?
Yes, Tasha the MC.
Standing as a woman MP?
As a woman MP.
Of course, maybe someone is sponsoring.
Yeah. So now, and we have here King with the
mayorship.
King with the mayorship. So what are the possibilities?
MP and so many others on the.
According to what Biebekul said, what are the possibilities of our northern guys? Let me say the greater north guys to making it through in the.
Of course, you know, me nowadays I don't want to judge things from the cover. Why I'm saying that one day is today I may say Monopoly has no chance of going through, and tomorrow he will be a member of parliament. So it won't be fair for me to say that. So the only thing that for us here, we do talk, then others will leave maybe to people.
To the people
we share our opinion outside there. Not that we don't like some of the artists who are contesting, or we're not interested, or we don't want support. But the thing is, sometimes we compare, we look back how things have been happening, then we compare with what is happening, then we can predict the future. So why I'm saying that one day is sometimes you find politics is not easy. It needs someone when you have the money, you need to have money, personal, that's one. Two, politics, first of all, it depends also on the conditions that are within the community. Because sometimes you may wake up in the morning. I remember the time here, way back here, especially when one of the MP is now one of the prominent senior citizen. Actually, I don't think that he was going to go through, but because of the condition, that what happened to him, it made him to go through. Remember when in our city here, when the aspiring candidate lost the wife, so people had that he kind of
sympathy.
Yes,
a sympathy vote.
A sympathy vote came in, and he went to the parliament. He knew that now this one here, things are not going to work out for me. For me to stand again, it's going to be a challenge. So what he did is, now I've done my part.
Let me just relax.
Let me go maybe back to where I come from. You get what I'm saying? So, in what I'm trying to say is, we are not going to say artists, especially who are standing in these political positions, are not going to go through. But I think it's a good one. Let God bless them. Why I'm saying that one day is maybe they may fight back for our industry, the industry that we are living in Uganda. The industry is real. The conditions are really worsening. I don't know why. The shows are no longer working. People are making losses. People are losing things every day. The promoters are losing their properties. Sometimes I don't know how I can put it, but I think really we're not doing well.
But of course, according to Biebekul, I believe that each and every single person has is entitled to their opinion. Same apply to Biebekul, talking about the artists who are jumping into politics because of their fame. And it's not a bad thing. That is his mind, Kani nenu mot umbenga moko machiti wacha ni akidi pek inenu kidi moko mapek cha mingo ene ini chobiti mungo gamwaje nshiditi definitely inwanga kidi moko tie mineno kama bot machi gamingo ene kidi macha cha kana assuring it kaja cha achopa tingu kidecha abayo kada baya ele mabiebe kulbo wacho nia pirango mebe nene awia juruwe pol ba juruwe ka woni en gibe midu zoka chido itika I politics kani neno gibe chido time politics mananke gipe ngech pa MC welcoming once again from that musical break. We had a couple of music that played, through your screen. And as we speak right now, Mosh, I wanted us to elevate in this, if I'm told, like you're one of the biggest DJs around the country, yeah? And around the country and East Africa at large, one of the biggest DJs around. If I'm told that you happens to, maybe on your social media account platform, somebody happens to to unfollow you, what do you do?
Of course, it depends which person is unfollowing me because sometimes, one of the things why someone should unfollow you is you're not relating, you're not over, and you're not important to him. There's nothing that he's going to get from you. You have spent almost 6 months without even chatting with the person. Why should the person keep that? Because there are other people who are interested in following you up. Sometimes even you find out like Facebook, I have unfollowed so many, over 500 people, because I've not been in touch with them for almost.
They don't like,
yes,
they don't comment.
They don't comment. So I unfollow some of those people who have not been in touch with me. There are many other fresh people who wants to join, who wants to be part of me.
But they are blocking the way.
Now, Facebook has that cadence of 5,000 people. Yeah. Once you have reached that then you cannot accommodate more people on your page. So what you do is you unfollow some people who are not serious.
To get the serious ones.
You get serious ones on board, people who can contribute to your life.
But of course, I'm talking about that, giving you a way back, last week, something like that happened with Azawi, where she, unfollowed so many guys on her Twitter. She was only left with the 6 Namubiru and maybe other stars in Africa. So she had even unfollowed her own record label, that is Swans Avenue. She unfollowed all of them. So now I was like, why would she do that? Because definitely there are reasons behind every single thing.
Now, something sad you see, some of these things here, with now the technology we have, it may not be a person who has done that. You find
some hackers.
They can hack your account and they do such things. Even you find yourself you are posting something which is not even happening. You are hacking someone else's there. Like what I've been telling you before. What right now me more shatter what I'm speaking, some people will not be happy of it, but it may affect them indirectly. So whatever thing we speak here, we speak to make sure that maybe we better our living. So it's the same way as I've said, you unfollowing someone may not be happy because he really wants to be a friend to you. But if you want to be my friend, does it mean that you should stay for all that long without even chatting with me or sending for me hi or saying?
When I post something, you don't even comment or say hi, likes. You don't.
Man, this world here, we need people who can add on who can
put
add,
something.
Yeah, on us. It doesn't mean that we coexist. So it doesn't make any sense if you spend all long 6 months and not even 3 months, even 90 days. It's even much for someone who is a serious friend who does not even say hi to find out how you are.
You see, definitely, I always tell people that a serious friend is not a friend that gives you money. A serious friend is not a friend that gives you, let me say, material things. But a serious friend is a friend who shows you how to get. You understand? And at the same time, who gives you advice. Those are the kind of friends. But of course, you will have somebody as a friend who takes you to a beer parlor each and every single time, buys you beer, minus giving you the money. So you go, when you're going to meet him, at the back of your mind, you'll be knowing that I'm going to eat and drink, but you will come empty pocket. You understand? So is that type of the friends that you need to consider in your life?
No.
Yes or no? Then we have some kind of friends. They are friends, somebody will tell you that if you're to buy a chicken, you know, like that chicken will produce. You understand? Then it will multiply later or later. Before you know it, you're ready. You can go and change goat. Like in the villages, it's not like that. Somebody picks 12 chickens, you know, yeah, and go and change, have a goat. You understand?
You barter trade.
You barter trade. Then you have 5 goats. You barter trade a cow. You understand? So now there are some friends. There are those type of friends that me myself I consider them to be a friend. You understand? Somebody who have at least have something that put their impact in your life. So me definitely like for friends on socials, we have seen a couple of guys. You see, you post something, somebody does not even sometimes look at it. Most of, even in WhatsApp, somebody looks at your message, the person goes, scrolls. You understand? Does not want to see the message. Even if the person is to see the message, the person doesn't reply.
You know, one thing that I want to say is some of these things do happen to us. Not that we don't want to reply people. Sometimes, you know, the time. You know, some people when they talk to me, I have a feeling that when you are chatting with me, I have a feeling that I need to give you more time. And by the way, sometimes we don't have enough time to talk to people, maybe chat with people. So when I look at maybe, for example, someone is trying to, for example, sometimes even the artist here is having a new project. He tries me saying, hey Motion, how are you? Hey, I have a new project, blah blah blah. I want to premiere it, blah blah, and so on. So as I find it, telling the person that yes, we are welcome now. You know, start planning all of them there. So you may find that I have other commitments and I postpone replying. I've seen the
post.
The post, but me replying at that very time, it may be hard. It doesn't mean that I may even be doing something that I feel that I don't want, maybe touch the phone and start chatting. So I postpone. And sometimes we even forget, after seeing the post, you don't even reply.
You don't even reply.
So the pastor said, this guy, what's wrong with him? I've seen my post, I'm seeing it in blue tick.
But no reply.
Yeah. Some people are busy.
So, and of course, I think it depends on the type of a person and what the person does for a living each and every single time. We have seen here, there's no room for for criticism and blaming. The blaming game sometimes in this industry. We really need to.
There's one thing that you are talking about criticism, but me, I feel that criticizing someone is something very good, because without criticizing somebody, there's no room for improving.
No room for improving.
Yes. When someone criticizes, you come out and say, Serge, you're a good presenter, but this is what you're lacking. I take it.
It builds.
Yes.
It builds. Yeah.
There's a way. Sometimes we have that belief in us that we are the best. Yet even we have some error to make outside there. People when someone comes up and said, you would have been a better version of Mosh. If you
have to do this and this.
If you have to change your way of doing this. So there's a way how I perceive it. Rather mean that there's room for improvement. The Mosh I seen today is not the Mosh maybe you saw 2 years back. So I've grown and now I can do other things that may be in a mature way.
And of course, that is much for you. 20 minutes to the top of the hour. That is at 7 p.m. And that's when we shall be signing out and giving the room for the Nilecast. And of course, before that, I have a question for Mosh. Mosh, how many let me say, the Afrobeat artists do we have in the whole of East Africa? The one that you know.
Almost 80% of artists in East Africa, they do Afro music.
They do Afro music.
Most artists there, they are versatile. You find someone is doing rap music, but again he enters into Afro. Now they do house music. There are so many genres that people do. So I cannot say this. I cannot tell that this is the right number. You know what I mean? That artists, they keep on confused. That's why you even find that the likes of Fig Famaica. Someone was saying that this gay there are not doing rap music. We don't understand. Actually, let me be straightforward. Fefe Bushi, when they asked him to mention guys who are doing hip hop music, he didn't mention some of the artists to say this and here. I'm doubting his general.
His art
He's not doing the right hip hop that
is supposed to be.
So it is hard for me start to say this is the number, but I can say in percent that 80% of East Africa, they do Afro music.
They do Afro
because
music.
it's what is trending right now. You know, Nigeria is really spearheading that Afro music, but I think Uganda as a country, we are also trying to take that direction.
How about Tanzania, Kenya?
Yes, you even know the likes of Diamond. Yes, they are doing the same
The
thing.
Bien, Sauti Sol.
Yeah, so many people are doing Afro music. That's the fact. You cannot tell me, I cannot tell you the numbers, but it's a good thing because when I will go.
But of course, I'm talking about that. Do you really think that Joshua Baraka was one of the artists that Uganda has been long waiting for as a breakthrough artist in, let me say, in the world, like as a breakthrough artist? Do you really think that he is the person that Uganda has been long in waiting for? Because I've seen, in a couple of posts, a lot of things have been said about Joshua Baraka. But I think, for me personally, I think Uganda has been waiting for him, to represent us, around the world. Don't you think so?
This question you have asked is a very tricky one. One is we have so many people who have represented us in big in an international level. I can give you an example like Eddie Kenzo. Eddie Kenzo has represented us very well. By the way, he has brought so many awards to Uganda. You remember he has been in so many awards, even in this one here, the recent one called what? The where he did not get the award. It's called what? He was in just ran out of my mind. The biggest award in this world here.
It's the
Afrima.
Afrima. Yeah, it should be Afrima in Africa.
Yes. He has been in so many different awards. So what I'm trying to say is that Joshua Baraka is not the only person who has represented Uganda country. There are so many artists who have really represented us very well. So there's no way we are going to tell. Yeah, there's no way you're going to tell me that only Joshua Baraka. Even Bebe Kulo, even Chameleon, so many people have done well in doing that. We have been having these artists, especially when they go out, they speak about their country, they talk about their country. Sometimes when they move with the flag of the country, that's the pure representation of Uganda.
But of course,
Joshua Baraka, the only thing that Joshua Baraka has done is, I would say he has changed. He has the consistency that since we knew about him. The consistency that he has been maybe giving us hit over hit at the international level. That's the only difference. Because some of these artists here now, they have really dropped from that international level. The ones who have been talking about have dropped, they're no longer there. But you find Joshua Baraka is pushing on. And then the sound, I want to say that Joshua Baraka, I think he is one of the artists that he has really given us to that level of giving us the best sound ever.
In Uganda?
Not in Uganda, internationally.
No, like talking about in Uganda.
Right
as
now,
being an artist from Uganda, he's the person who has given us the best sound.
Yes, of course, his work speaks for itself.
And of course, talking about Joshua Baraka, and of course, remember at the earlier time, we did tell you that we're going to be profiling the guy, Joshua Baraka. And of course, Joshua Baraka, is an artist, he's an Ugandan artist, Afrobeat. And of course, this is the guy who was born in January, that is 2001. And if you calculate from 2001 up to now, the guy is 24 years. Yeah? 24 years. From 2001 to 2025. Is
25 years.
Is 25 years. As we speak right now, he has not yet clocked 25. He's 24, making 25 next year. That is the 1st January. And of course, the guy Joshua Baraka was born in Kawempe. You know, he was born in Kawempe, and he had a lot of things. Then his first music, he released it in the year 2023. Yeah? 2023, that is a Joshua Baraka. And of course, this is the guy who was inspired by his father. His father is a pastor, and he used to be a choir too, playing instrumental in the church, the guitar, the drums. That's where he got the courage to do the music. And purely, this is the guy, like I told you earlier on, the guy was born in Kawempe, Uganda. That is in January 2001. And of course, his father, as known, was a pastor and a lead in that category for sure. And this is the guy who did not only stop there, he's also a songwriter. He sings, he writes at the same time. And this is the guy who also produces. So meaning that most of his songs, when you talk of production, meaning that most of his songs, sometimes he also produces the songs by himself, as being a guitarist whenever it needs, where it's necessary to be given play guitar instrument, he always jumps there. And the guy grew up in Boise. We all know the situations of, Boise, when it comes to physical appearance of Boise, it's one of the remote area. Yeah?
Not now.
By
then. Yeah, not now.
So actually that is where the guy grew up in Boise, and the music career of the guy we're talking about. This is the guy who writes songs, produces at the same time, and this is the guy who confirmed that the single gender, starting his music style based on the emotional songs. Sometimes when you listen to this guy's songs, there's a way it gives you,
No, of course, that sound that, one thing that what is really beating my understanding is we Uganda we have failed to sell out our sound, because what Joseph Baraka is doing is not our sound. He's doing the sound for Nigerians and other, because that kind of thing is with some few people here, people like Elijah Chitaka, people like Azawi, they're that category.
That category.
So you find that in Uganda we have our music Chidandali. So we have failed to sell our Chidandali outside there. So what we do is to sell at the international market, we need to acquire that Afro beat, fused music from Nigeria.
From Nigeria.
And that's why you see people are doing that. There is getting successful in the international market. For example, when you go to Spotify. You get the likes of Joseph Baraka, you get the likes of Chitaka, top, almost only you
the beard of this.
You find the likes of actually the ones who are spearheading on Spotify right now. Joseph Baraka, Azawi, Elijah Chitaka, Geni Winnie is also there. Nice to some extent. I saw this guys even have actually they call it radio, whereby they list almost around 50 songs. People sing exactly what you are singing. So you'll find that this sound that we are trying, maybe people are trying to do, is not a sound that that belongs to Uganda, but it's the most selling sound around the world.
And of course, Joshua Baraka, EP, that is Baby Steps, was released during lockdown. That is in 2020. That was in 2020 lockdown. And of course, he did not also stop to there. This is the guy who continued with a lot of things. He collaborated with Bien, that is from Bien. This is one of the guy from Kenya. It's
Rwanda.
He collaborated with the guy, and of course, doing that, he did also collaborated with that is Joe Boy. Yeah, Joe Boy also did a collab with the Joe Boy EP, that is Growing Pains. So when you listen to it, this is Growing Pains, Baby Steps, all of these songs that all, the all touching thing. Then also his song Nana. Remember Nana?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nana also achieved a lot of things, when it comes to music, and of course over 5 million, streamed and reaching audience in Nigeria, Kenya, and at the same time Uganda and UK. Meaning that Nana was one of the songs that gave him, a broader, viewership, and listenership. He gave him a lot of platform. In all the music that people do. Let me bring it down to break the chain. You see, out of all the songs.
Actually, Bien is from Kenya, not even from Rwanda.
It's from Kenya. So now, talking about that song of Biebe Cool, the all 16 songs. And of course, you don't expect all the 16 songs to sell out. So that means that Nana was one of the songs that sold out, for this our brother that is Joshua Baraka. And all in all this, and of course, a lot about Joshua Baraka. This is how we always give you each and every single time. But now, giving it back to music, like I was asking you, Joshua Baraka, right now as we speak, let's leave along the guys who were there representing, our music to the world. The likes of Eddie Kenzo, the likes of Dr. Jose Chameleon, mentioned by the few who have managed to penetrate, the music industry. So now, let's look at Joshua Baraka as currently, Joshua Baraka, whom do you think that, do you really have any future of seeing another artist also come again like Joshua Baraka, live along Biebe Cool with Break the Chain thing in the young generation?
It will be unfair for me to say that I don't see. It doesn't mean that what if I say I don't see tomorrow and even someone appears. So I would say, to my opinion, I think this now people are now realizing that that's now the side of the coin people are going to take. They need to do more of something that is selling them internationally. And I've loved this so much. I think the likes of Azawi, Swans Avenue, they're doing well. The likes of India. I think Swans Avenue is trying to tap that international market for its own artists. That's why you see the likes of Kitaka now really doing music at that international level. They have really got the sound right.
So meaning that we have a couple of artists.
We're expecting more.
We're expecting
more are going to come on board, and make sure maybe they say that sound is not ours. The sound is for Nigerians.
So we need to create our own sound.
Yes, of course you want to appear. You want to appear at the international market. So you need to adopt that culture, that sound. So basically, Ugandans here for us we are people of Kidandali.
Take away to Gende. And of course, that is a much for you. We are people of take away to Gende. Can you be able to profiling, a biography pa Joshua Baraka? Can you know what Kinjuru with me, Uganda kind waneno dano mapol machalo Eddie Kenzo, at least uloro with moi in one padano kucheja. Waneno dano ka Eddie Kenzo shido Charlie Cairo gi Egypt kamoko matongtong ebeluka representing Uganda. Ma nekupendi mo beka wachania any kini mo beneno ko Joshua Baraka any nyo etinya timo beluka koro mobinu ni binu pare mishido kaloro wermwa kambo kucheja anyo ngo. And of course, I watch any Paul Padano, Kawani Kirimi Beneno, Paul Pawia, Mosho, that can you give example Palai Jagi, Gaminano Miss Swans Avenue, Azawi, Giteka Timu, take Makuna, lock with the sound. Don't one kick a pony or don't kill each other much about the Chidandari, take out to gain day, get what chidi. Any much by I don't want Makwa, get him a money, Caddy one, you West Night, Caddy Greater North. We need to really iron up our sound. So much. We are having, 6 minutes to the top of that is at 7 p.m. Your last word to the people out there who have been watching us right from the beginning.
Of course, I want to thank all the viewers who have been watching us from the beginning of this program up to now. And remember, on our way, don't get tired. We're having now cast
that will be coming,
which is just I think now they're right in the studio preparing to give you what's happening in the world. So you don't touch the line.
And of course, for me to you, I'm gonna say bye-bye and all the guys who have been watching right from the beginning in the whole country. So Sudan, Juba, let me say Juba, talking about the guys in the other side of Congo, Mahagi, Bunia, and of course I'm not forgetting the guys of Aliwara and the rest of the people in different parts of the world. And of course, thank you so much for watching Western Television. It has been a wonderful time having a blessed day with you. But for me, I want to shout out to my brother that is Otiku Vulirengo. Kada ingeo tele Otiku Vulirengo. See you till tomorrow. Same